Nothing kicks off the holidays more than lighting the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Here are some tips for visiting the area from expert tour guides.
Generally, what I tell folks, instead of coming in from like the Fifth Avenue side, where it just gets crazy, especially with the Saks Light Show, I found that it's much easier to come in from the Sixth Avenue side and just wander in along one of the side streets. And then that gets you pretty close up to the tree where you can see some good views of it without as much traffic.
You will spend a lot of your vacation time sitting in traffic if you are taking Ubers or you are taking taxis. Uber prices change during the holiday season. There's surges depending on the time that you're going out and depending on the time of year. The New York City subway is the best way to get around.
I tell people New York is like its own country. If you're visiting a country, you kind of have to narrow down what you want. Then you can make a plan based on that. If it's your first visit, try to orient yourself around the city. But if you've been here before, what I love to do when I visit, a new city is I love checking out museums, especially the small specialty museums where you can really get a sense of different cultures. So I would look at that as well. And then, of course, the food is world class.
Look, John's of Bleecker Street is hands down my favorite pizza in New York. And I feel like you come into New York, I don't care if it's Christmas or not, John's of Bleecker Street is classic Neapolitan style pizza. They've been down there. They're still cranking out pizza in the same coal-fired brick oven stove that they were back in 1929 when they opened. And I would definitely recommend doing that.
I think there's a couple of other handy resources that folks sometimes don't necessarily know about. Localadventurer.com, which is devoted to pop-ups. So it has museums, restaurants, shops that are only in town for a short time. And I think that folks can often fall into the trap of Ticketmaster and paying way more than they need to. So usually I recommend checking out on playbill.com. If you just search for Broadway Rush, you get the article with a list of every single Broadway show that's playing and how to get the cheapest tickets.
And little known fact, but New York City's very first Christmas tree actually wasn't here.
Before we had Rockefeller Center, there was Madison Square Park. And this was actually the site of the very first public Christmas tree in New York. A very kind of upscale socialite in 1912, really kind of empathized with the plight of the poor, and only wealthy people had Christmas trees. And she thought Christmas should be for all New Yorkers, whether rich or poor. And she would erect the first public Christmas tree.
So there you have it. Check out more tips and tricks, head to NBCNewYork.com. I'm Linda Gaudino. Happy holidays.